move on to James Creedon with Media Watch, who's here to tell us more about today's disruption driving into work. I noticed queues at the petrol stations that had petrol, and of course shutters up at those that didn't.
That's right. We'll start with the kind of outside perspective, looking at everything that's been happening in the last month or 2 months in France between the uprising, if you like, that is Nuit Debout. It's a form of uprising. You have just strikes generally regarding the labour law reforms, and now this blockade of oil refineries and potentially nuclear power stations. So France really could go into lockdown. And there was this torching of a patrol car last week during one of the anti-labour law riots, and it sort of captured the imagination of some editorial writers. Torched patrol car, symbol of Hollande losing his grip on France. That was an article written today, but that symbol still remaining very strong in the eyes of some. And this petrol shortage is succeeding, according to this article in the Huffington Post, where other demonstrations against the labour law have failed. Why? Well, because it's more crippling, isn't it? I suppose if cars can't drive, if you can't get your car to motor along, the economy could go into lockdown.
It's cars, it's lorries, it's everything about transport.
Right. And economists here saying, well, actually, there's a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy in terms of the panic element going on here. People running to fill up their cars before they might need to, and actually creating the shortage ahead of time, if you like. So that's an article in the Huffington Post saying the kind of fear factor is playing in as well. I like this cartoon by Chapat. You have General de Gaulle there speaking to François Hollande. This is, of course, a bit fantasy fiction. And there they are looking out of the window of a palace, also fictional, overlooking the Place de la République, saying the only thing to do in this country is do away with the month of May. Because, of course, it was May 68, May Day every year, and France, they love to really show when they don't agree with something. So there you go. What do we have on social media? You have Tintin being dug out to illustrate the way in which cars are grinding to a halt, and boom. I suppose that's a bit of a metaphor. That's getting a bit tired at this point, isn't it? The whole je suis meme, but I am petrol, why not? And then this is the weirdest hashtag of the day. Petrol shortage in a film, because these are obviously people who have not been affected by the petrol shortage and are at home or on their smartphone devices tweeting about it because they think it's funny because they haven't been affected. And so there you have Reservoir Dogs, you have Forest Pump, you have Tom and Jerry Can, and you have, what else? I think I have one or two more. Total Recall, why not? And Mad Valse as opposed to Mad Max. I haven't seen that, but I'm assured it's very petrol orientated as a movie. And yes, so there you go, Mark. People not taking it seriously on social media, even though it is a very, very serious topic.
Okay, I can't put the next question because I'm still giggling. Tell us where you're going next.
All right, well, apparently this has been going on for about a month, but the French media are now kind of latching onto it, if you like. It's a Hug a Brit campaign. Now, this
Hug a Brit campaign.
It was started by an Austrian lady living in London, and the idea is, well, I suppose people are despairing of the sort of intellectual arguments to stay in the European Union. So, the whole free hugs thing, that's been around for a while now. I suppose it's been a bit inspired by that. It's got a website, pleasedon'tgouk.com/morehugs. Now, I've tried to log on today, but it seems to be inundated. I don't know if that's the interest coming from French media who, as I say, just latched onto it today. There's Jarvis Cocker, whose name is misspelt in this tweet. I hugged Jarvis Cocked for Please Don't Go campaign. Yes, the real one. We're presuming she's not British, because the idea is it's non-Brits, I presume EU Brits, who hug.
Jarvis Cocker, you could presume anything.
Hashtag Hug a Brit. Now, I quite like this bit. This is the Wall Street Journal pointing out that the Brits are less sort of hug-orientated, or hug-oriented, as they say in the US, than your average Latin. So
I think that's fair comment.
So you have this sub-headline in Le Monde, "Ce n'est pas très British," the hug. The hug isn't so British. Well, it is amongst British people who are family members, I guess, but not amongst broad, members of the public.
If you play in the same team, you score a goal, you score a try, you get a hug, but, it's not something we do every day.
Now, I'll finish with this tweet. Hold on, if I can get onto it. Here we go. David Sharp sounds like he could be British to me, but I can't confirm that. And he's tweeting in French, so I think he lives here. Hashtag Hug a Brit. My advice, accept the kissing and the kind of hugging, but vote however you want, even if you want to leave the EU, and they'll never know. So in other words, many people are saying, look, you can hug a Brit, but it mightn't convince them regardless, and they're not so hug friendly. And he's saying, I'll accept the hug, but I might just vote for Brexit anyway. It's a little bit silly, but look, I suppose it's a bit of a goodwill gesture and a sort of a sign of solidarity and all the rest of it. There you go, Mark.
James, free hugs, that's all I can say, from the Swede and the Irishman. There we go. And the Brit, there we go. Thank you very much indeed, James Crew, the Media Watch. Marcus Carlson, as ever, with the business. Great stuff. And